What's up, team? Took the week off, coming back with a new episode this week. Audrey Arbe is going to be up on the Second Chance podcast, and Audrey is a great listen. She is, um, let me see how she put it. She's in her eighth decade. So she's seasoned, she's got tons of just knowledge and information, but she was born as a mystic intuitive. And she just details her journey, the techniques and just breath work, the advice that she gives during this when you're working on your own spirituality or you're working towards your own journey. She gives you some fresh insights on just different things and how to create deeper connections with yourself. So make sure you give her a listen. She's got a website that she details how you can connect with her, but just limited on social media. But she has courses, all sorts of valuable information, especially if you're into intuitive and as my friend Nanette calls it, the woo-woo of the world. If you're into that, it's definitely a good listen for you. Let me know what you think. I'd love to, and let me know if it creates any questions that you would like to know Audrey, know of Audrey. And reason being is I told her I was hoping that it would create a new conversation from the listeners that wanted to learn more about her or had particular questions for the greater good of the audience. Now, if you have something you just want to ask her, you can reach out for her. She's very open, but if you got something that you feel like the world is dying to know, let me know. We'll get Audrey back on and we'll have a little Q&A with her. So, thank you. Let me know what you think, and appreciate you all following along. Take care. All right, group. Welcome back to the Second Chance podcast. Really, really excited to deliver and just talk with my next guest. We've been chatting leading up to this, and the more that she talks, I see sometimes when you have podcast guests on, and Audrey and I don't know each other, and we connected over the internet, and just there was I always lean into there's a reason why people come into your life, and just leading into this up next on the Second Chance podcast is Audrey Arbe. Yeah. She is coming to us from Costa Rica now, and we're going to get to why. But here's why I'm really excited, just in us talking and reading over the notes, is we're all about second chances. And just these little nuggets that you were telling me you wanted to leave with our guest, it really speaks in just, I'm excited for everybody to hear it. But until we do, here's what it just spoke to me, Audrey, and I want you to know that is when I was struggling in mental health and just really trying to find my way, reconnected through jobs, and just nothing. When I look back on it now, it was just more of figuring out me. But the nuggets you just gave me would have been so valuable during that process, just to help me pause and reflect and slow my mind down and really look at myself. And so I'm excited for everyone who's on that journey toward or finding their second, fourth, fifth, 90th chance that they're going to get to hear those tips at the end of our conversation. So I'm going to just leave it like this. Audrey has some intuitive abilities. And reading her notes, she's got a couple things I'm going to pull out. But Audrey, I'd like to lead us off here. How did you first discover your intuitive abilities, and how has that journey shaped your personal and professional life? Welcome.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me as a guest.
Yes,
and I very much enjoyed our conversation because it simply flowed and it just goes on. So yes, I'm very, very, very honored to be here.
Yeah.
So how did I discover intuitive abilities? It's the way I'm made. I mean, since I'm little, and I'm laughing at that because I'm 4'10". If there was any adult, they'd say you're still little. Okay, but I'm a fully grown adult. I'm 4'10" and maybe 94 pounds. I don't know, something like that, which is a good weight for 4'10". It's not skinny, it's 4'10".
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, how did I discover it? There would be things I just could sense and know. That's why I call myself a born mystic intuitive. There's just stuff I know. And
Let me
like,
ask you
sure.
how I would quiz you. All right, I'm going to interrupt you, and my wife's going to yell at me later for interrupting you right off the bat. But is it a sixth sense? Was that feeling like when you say, I just know, describe you, and I kind of understand what you're saying, but the person who's listening to this is like, yeah, that's just too much, but they might
No,
understand that sixth sense, right? Is that kind of what it is? Or
it's normal to me. And I don't think of it that way. It is normal. Like I have curly hair. Okay, the color is enhanced. The curl, that is totally natural. I don't have to do anything for my hair to curl. It's the way I'm born. Okay. The color, this used to be the color, now it's enhanced with a product.
right?
And so like when I was little, I was born in Brooklyn. And I don't think there's anyone who doesn't know it's New York, but I was born in Brooklyn, New York. And I started this, so I'm going to say it again because if people don't know when I was born, they won't have a context.
That's right.
I'm in my 80s. Okay, I am 82 and change right now. There's no point to like play around. That's my birthday is July. I'm a July baby, Cancerian, not Leo. And I was listen where we lived. My family had an apartment. My uncle and aunt had an apartment. The other one had. We were all in like two buildings together in Brooklyn, and which is pretty interesting now that I think about it. And there would be things I sensed about people, things I just knew, and I have an avid interest and curiosity in our species. So I remember I'm the firstborn of three. And I remember as a little girl, we would sit on, we called it the stoop. I don't know if you call it that now. We'd sit on the stoop. That's the steps in front of the building going down. And I'd observe people. I was quiet and I'd observe. And I'd wonder what they did to themselves that they looked like that. Because I'd feel it. I'd sense it. I didn't know other people didn't do this. I did it. It's the way I am. And I remember at one point when I was 10, and that's not such a little kid anymore, I'm already like a person, I saw my mother. My mom's not alive anymore, so she can't say anything on this, but I saw my mother doing stuff with my brother. Like he would do a particular behavior and she would respond in a certain way. And then a little later, he would do similar behavior. She would respond very differently. And then a little later, same day, not like days later, do similar behavior. She'd respond yet another way. And I knew, no one had to tell me, I knew this was going to create confusion in him as to what was expected of him and how to behave and all of that. So me and my zeal to be helpful, and I love being helpful. I'm a born Cancerian, and we like that, okay, in general. So I went to my mom, and I forgot what my words were, but in essence, I suggested that she may want to behave or have a response similar to whatever it was, so my brother would understand better rather than have a confusion. So what she did, these days we call it invalidate. I didn't have a big word then, but she would already say, what do you know? You're only a kid. You don't know, pretty much, you don't know anything. Go away. And so I understood right then and there that not everybody really wants to learn. Not everybody wants to grow. Not everybody wants to have a dialogue. Not everybody wants, because I would have discussed it. I'm an intelligent person. I've been intelligent from the get-go. And I mean, I am this blend of intelligence and intuition. I have both. I'm lucky that way. And I'm not going to pretend at 82, I'm not going to pretend that I don't have a brain. I do have a brain. And you do too. We all do. And the more I'm learning about quantum stuff, the more we acknowledge that and build it, the better our brain becomes. And since I'm big into this, and as I said, I'm only 82, I intend to be here for a while and in good health, not doddering around. I mean, if that happens, then I'll deal with whatever I have, but that's not going to happen. Delete.
Yeah.
So I just understood that I understood stuff because in conversation with people, it was obvious. I'm a year and 8 months senior to my sister, who passed in July. We are now in September. My sister passed July 23rd. I'm coming. It was hard. They're not even going to go, whatever.
Yeah.
And she, although intelligent, was more normal in her conversation and what she did. I'm not. I don't mean I'm abnormal. Someone said, no, baby, you're extraordinary. So I'm going to say that. I have a way of thinking and being that intuitives and mystics and shamans have. I'm made like this. So is it an extra sense? My mother had said to me on a couple of occasions, you're too sensitive. My internal response, and I couldn't say it or I would have had a response I did not want.
Yeah.
My response was, you're not sensitive enough. So on one level, it's all a perspective. So what I've done on and off in life, not every minute because my life has up and downs, okay? I've developed it. I'm still developing it. A friend gave me the gift of Gaia TV or whatever it's called, Gaia.com, because I'm into metaphysics on a huge, 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 huge level. I am a metaphysician, okay, or whatever big, fancy, little, small word you want to use. So I whipped through I love Greg Braden. And so I watched all of his podcasts on that. And then Dr. Bruce Lipson, he's also very good. Now I'm going through another person and I am learning from them because some of them, not those two, are physicists. I'm not, but I understand when they break down the language because I don't know all those words. But when they break down the meaning, it's meaning physics and metaphysics are meshed right now. And whether one calls it quantum entanglement, see, I can throw words around now, or whether, but these are the words now. This is the world we are living in. So I'm learning also. By the way, anyone who is older, you have to keep learning. You don't get older. I'm not to learn. No. My mother had told me once that she thought at a certain point that she never had to learn anything more. Let me tell you, that's not a good belief system.
Yeah.
There's always what to learn. And if I didn't believe in second chances, I will share this right up front. I had issues with food. I overate. People can look at me, no, not you. Yes, me. We did not know when I was a kid and growing up, and I was born in 1942, in case you need some help figuring out the math of when I came into the world and what was going on at the time. Okay, all the talk we have now about food and nutrition and this and that, no, nothing. And so a friend later on, much later on, a few years ago, tuned in on me, because that's what we do, had said that I was addicted to sugar without knowing it. And I don't know if anyone's done any studies here that might be watching or participating. Sugar is very addictive. White sugar, okay, very addictive. There's the book Sugar Blues by, what is it, somebody Duffy, I forgot, from a while ago. And I think in that book that it was said, I think that it was second to heroin. Do I know this? I don't know, but I think that's what was said. And without knowing it,
Audrey, I think what the thing is, and you'll see your dopamine and some of your receptors once sugar's introduced, is your body's your dopamine receptors and some of the brain waves. Some losing. There's a name for that kind of test, but anyway, it will light up the same areas in your brain that heroin. I've heard some similar studies that will do the same thing with cocaine and some of those other harder drugs. It'll really give you that I want more and that experience like what you're talking about. So you're right on spot on with what you're saying. I was going to ask you. So we're still a little girl, Audrey, living with mom, and during this time, are you just you figured this out? You know you have this gift, and you're really good with people. Is that something you just keep working on? And then where I'm going with this is there anybody that comes in while you're a kid, like a grandmother? How did this get passed on to you other than God type thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you learn anything about okay, so I have the guides gave me this term genetic karmic patterning, GKP. And they gave me that in the 90s. And genetic karmic patterning means that when a person is born, they inherit not only the physical characteristics of their forebears, they could also take in some of the attitudes, some of the belief systems, some of the way of being without even knowing where it came from, and not just the biological antecedents. Now you're talking to a psychic here, so if my language gets a little different, just let me know and I'll curtail it, because I told you I have a very wide ranging mentality and I study a lot of things. Okay. So whether it's beings from other planets and all that, we, and if we ever participated with any of that, which many people have without knowing, okay, or not remembering, there could be a belief system or a tendency towards something that we are born with, which if we're smart at all, and most of us are, by the way, we will do our best to clear so we can be free. Now they have a term epigenetics, and epigenetics, it's an actual science now, started, I believe, by I just said his name. Oh, the guy I said, not after Greg Braden. Um, he studies it and teaches it. We can help change our own genetic code by our feelings, our thoughts, our ways of being. It isn't like somebody is just stuck with something. Now, don't someone say to me, so Audrey, go and become 6 feet tall. Number one, I have no interest in being 6 feet tall. And number two, that's not what I'm talking about. But we can shift. But it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes focus, it takes belief system, it takes clarity. It takes this. But when I was growing up, it was not anything to be respected if someone was intuitive. It would be okay, that and a subway token will get you on the subway. It
Yeah.
didn't mean much of anything at that time. Nothing. Not in my family. It's okay, that was it. So now if I see it in anyone, like one of my grandkids particularly, I do my best to encourage it. I do my best to encourage any of their gifts and talents.
Yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with me. It has to do with them. If I see that someone has a gift in a particular area and I talk with them and they like it, I'm going to do everything I can to have them learn about it, develop it, be it, because we need every gift and talent possible on the earth at this time. But no, growing up that way, I had a weight issue. Oh my God, please. I had other stuff going on. And so the intuition and sometimes the intelligence and the awareness, I don't even know how to say this without it sounding horrible, was not always conducive to being in this world.
Yeah.
When I was sitting in class, I think this was middle school, and we were learning about war because you have to. I was feeling it. I was seeing sometimes some of the battlefield. Not all the time. I give thanks for that. But sometimes I had to hide my face because I had tears coming down. Not all the time. I had to kind of block it a little bit. So, yeah, is it always easy? No. This world is, now it's starting to honor it a lot more, especially with all the information about the quantum realm and quanta. So I'm also doing my best to learn that also. It's like metaphysics. I just don't have I'm learning the language and getting better at it.
Would you say, just for everyone, like this is something that you were able to control. And so there was a little girl, and you got to grow up and go to school. Can you just kind of fill us in on what, um, speak to the folks that are totally interested in this but have not had the same lifestyle you have, where their normal and your normal is a little different? So speak to the other side of that. How was your everyday life? Was this something that consumed you, or was it controllable?
No, I didn't consume me at all. I just had a life. I mean, I was the firstborn of 3 kids. We were a family in Brooklyn. Um, I was born in 42, so I was at the eve of the Second World War. So there was all kind of whatnot and hoo-ha going on. And the 50s had its own whatever going on. But when people have any of this gift and talent, if anyone sees this within themselves, first, thank yourself. Thank creation, whatever your language is for that. I don't care what your language is, okay? Give thanks for it. It's a gift. If you don't have it, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're missing anything. You'll have whatever your gift might be. Maybe you know how to fix a car, okay, whatever your gift might be. Or a rocket that's going to fly somewhere.
That's right.
And all of this kind of thing. And learn some breathing attunements so you know how to center yourself. For everybody watching, go to HMI, heartmathinstitute.org, I think it is, or Heart Math Institute. They teach how to create coherence between your heart and your brain. There is a brain in the heart that is stronger, smarter than the brain in your head, and the brain in your heart actually tells the brain in your head what to do. And a simple way to create coherence is to inhale, say, for the count of 4, hold for the count of 3, exhale to the count of 5. Do that for a while, a couple of days, and then inhale to the count of 5, hold to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 6 or 7. You make the exhalation a little longer. Do that for about 3 to 5 minutes a day. It'll create a coherence between your heart and your brain so that they operate as one organ, which gives you more strength, more intuition, more intelligence, and more power. Not power like you can like that. That's different, okay? But a more belief in yourself. Part of what's missing, and it was missing in me for a long time, is people loving themselves and not criticizing themselves to the nth degree. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Okay, a lot. So I created a course. That's my morph course. It's I'll give a link. Okay, if you want to look,
Yeah.
look. If you don't.
No. Please, we'll leave that now, and then I'm going to get you to send it to me as well, so I can put it in the notes. Because,
Okay.
like I had told you, Audrey, a lot of my speaking and guests are coming in from public safety, because that's a little bit of my background. So there's a lift, and there's an awareness in that community, not necessarily on the mystical side, and that's a byproduct of something that I think you and I are interested in, and the folks that are, but just in general of that heart mind, um, in that centering and the breath work, where a stressed out police officer, firefighter, military person can take 3 to 5 minutes and go through just that breath work to just recenter themselves. And I told you, my second chance was trying to find my way, but I didn't know that. I was too just ignorant to the whole thing of like the power within. And I really struggle with that. But I think if I'd have just had a few minutes of breath work and centering and looking for that, it's really valuable of what you're saying. So please share that link.
Thank you. Well, this stuff is really important. I mean, they would say to me, okay, the word that people used to use, you're so woo. And they think by using an insulting word, they're making less of what it is. That's just showing, I'm sorry, I have to say this. That's just showing their own ignorance.
Yeah.
That's showing that they don't understand something and they don't want to ask about it. So some people, if they don't understand something, they will ridicule it. They will poo-poo it. Or they'll throw, what I don't even know the terms anymore. they'll throw shade.
Yeah.
The old also.
Yeah, that's a good
They'll
one.
throw shade at it.
80,
Okay.
82 years old throwing shade out there.
Hey, I have grandkids, baby. I
That's
get
a good
around,
one. Look at, I like that.
and I know
Audrey, I say
people.
that all
I'm
the
not.
time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, and this kind of thing, and they don't learn anything. They've added a negative energy into all of our thoughts, all of our words, all of our internal dialogue. And what is internal dialogue? That chit chat that's going on in everyone's mind right now. That's internal dialogue. And if it's talking a whole lot of garbage, that's part of what someone is emanating into the world and creating some of the mushmash that some of us are living in now. This doesn't just, oh, it just happened. No. Humans, and perhaps others, but humans are creating this both with our wonder and our love and our support and our joy and our anger and our rage and our pain and our insults that people do not clear.
Yeah.
And when people don't clear this, and is it work? Yes, it's work. It's what we call the inside internal work. When someone says it's an inside job, other people may have another meaning for it. But if I say it's an inside job, it means doing the work for the internal self. I've had to do an enormous amount of work. I was insulted for some of the gifts I have. What do you think? You know something? You're only a kid. What do you know? That's not encouraging. And that could be from a parent who will then say, I only want the best for you, because they don't always know. And this is not me putting down parents. I am a parent. I'm a grandparent. And is everything always perfect? No. But in its imperfection, it's perfect because we're all growing. And I have enough wisdom and do enough clearing on myself and have others, if I haven't quite been able to do it, so that I can hold my energy and move forward. I'm 82. I cannot play the game that I played when I can't do it. That is gone.
Audrey, let me ask you something, and let's get there. And when you talk, we're really into this the clearing phase of that, and I think we all, whether you want to go down the Audrey path of just some empathic gift or some intuition gifts, whatever that looks like, you can set that aside. We all are faced with negativity and negative energy all the time. I'll say that my son has taught me about people, and he's like, you got to learn how to quit peopling so much because I love people. But he also brought awareness to how much of a drain that can be because not everybody has that same energy. What are some ways that you clear that?
Okay.
What you clear that energy? What are you explain that?
All right. One, go to the landing page for the morph course. And the landing page is almost everything I do almost is Audrye Now. AUDRYE. That's how I spell it. AUDRYENOW.com/morph. MORPH. On the very landing page, if I remember correctly, I have breathing attunements. Okay, and I'm going to do one here. When you want to do that, everybody wakes up at some point in the morning or you wouldn't be here. So after you go to the bathroom and do what you have to do or brush your teeth and all that stuff, sit and breathe. Breathe slowly. Do the breathing I just said. The guides gave me years ago, and you do not have to be an intuitive. You have to be anything, okay? Ask that shiny, healing white light. I do this every morning, okay? Come into the linings of yourself. Feel, and just do this with the attitude. You don't think, how do I do it? I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. You do it with your intention. If your intention is that your being and your body is filled with protective white light, you simply allow it without getting into, I don't know if I'm doing it right. What if it's not this way? Blah, 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 blah. Stop all that. You have the ability to say, stop, enough. Or you take all that, put it in a jug, send it to the universe, whatever you call the all in all, whatever your language might be. I don't care what you call it. that it gets filled with healing and returned to you the next day. Then you can also fill this. I literally do this. The guides gave me this exercise years ago. And then that helps uplift. What does white light do? It protects. It's the energy. It's part of the energy of creation. There's a whole lot of, it's also informative. So you slow your breathing, you fill with light, you ask that you understand yourself. I never understood myself. I did not grow up in a place that understood me. I had to develop that. That was a long journey, and I've got it now. Okay. And so that's why I want to share. I don't want people going through what I went through. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
And so when you've done something you don't like with me, whether I ate food that was not what I wanted to eat, or if you take a substance that's not what you'd rather have taken, or whatever it might be, and then you go, oh, okay, stop. Stop the recriminations. Stop insulting yourself. Stop with all the negative self-talk. Just stop it, bit by bit by bit by bit. And instead of all that negative self-talk, turn it around. I am a wonderful person capable of growth and change, and I am doing it now. It's a positive word, sentence. You have the I, me, my, because you have to claim it. You put a time on it now, not like, oh, someday. No, because then it doesn't happen. You're floating in the someday. Okay, you anchor it by making it now. And after you do whatever it might be, then you do your gratitudes. Thank you. Thank you to the universe. Thank you that I'm alive. Thank you I have hair. Whatever it might be. Okay. Thank you that I can speak. And after the whatnot that my sister went through, when I say thank you that I can breathe, I mean that, because she was on a ventilator and did not make it. I'm not going to go, okay. This was only July, August, 2 months ago. Okay. And I'm definitely healing. So I'm okay. Okay. But I'm a real woman. I had a real sister, and she's not here. And did she want to listen to any of the suggestions I made? No. Okay. So
be their own person, right?
Well, this is real life.
Yeah.
Okay. People who are like I love Greg Braden. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Okay. And he has real life. He came from, he'll tell you this. He came from a dysfunctional family whose father was an alcoholic and left when he was 10. So the violence and the alcoholism stopped, and then they needed more money. So he started to work young, not at 10, but young, 16. So people have real lives, okay? And look at Oprah Winfrey. I mean, look at whomever. And whatever anyone who's listening, watching, participating in this, it's not too late. It's never too late. If you can breathe, or you have help, if you're on this earth, if you have consciousness, which is where it starts, we can up-level it. I've known since I'm a baby, since I was able to have thoughts in my head, I've always known that I was on this earth to, quote unquote, make things better. And now that I'm an adult and I've been around, and I've written 4 books, and I've written 3 courses, and and art, and I paint rocks and all this stuff. Okay. Now my language could be, I'm here to upraise consciousness. I'm here to facilitate change here and now. And for anyone who's older, I'm going to say it again. I'm 82. Okay. And counting. And I'm only 82 and counting. Don't have a headset where it goes, oh, you get old and you fall apart. No, that's a belief system.
Yeah.
You do not have to fall apart. You do have to do maintenance. You do have to take care of yourself as you go through the years. It isn't, oh, I can just F around and do whatever I want. Sorry, okay, and do whatever I want, blah, 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 because I'm only going to die anyway. Well, maybe. And maybe you're just going to float off. Who knows? And since energy never, ever changes, no, it changes. What is energy is never lost. As I understand physics, that's one of the quote unquote laws, even in quantum physics, okay? And I've had a near-death experience. I spoke with the shiny light beings. They exist. It is the most beautiful. Just astounding.
All right. Tell us about it, Audrey. Tell us what happened. How was that?
The shiny light beings?
Yeah, tell us about the experience. Would you like to share that?
Sure. Okay, so I had a miscarriage when I was 35. I really wanted that child. I got pregnant again with my ex. He wasn't my ex then. Okay, so I got pregnant when I was 38. This was on purpose getting pregnant. Okay, these were intentional pregnancies. And it was about 6 weeks shy of due date. I was bleeding, which is not a good thing when a woman is bleeding from her area. And so we rushed me to the hospital, and I was going to have an emergency C-section. This is giving you a context so you know what was going on, so you can get a picture of all this. And I'm breathing slowly because that's all I knew how to do. And I had not yet studied metaphysics, but I am one. Okay, I know stuff. And there's always more to learn. I don't mean I know everything, I do not. And so they examined me. They said placenta abruptia, which means the placenta is leaving the body. One does not want the placenta to leave before the baby. That's a no. That means no. Okay. So I had to have an emergency C-section. And so they're counting me down, 9, 8, whatever. And all of a sudden, literally all of a sudden, I was in this place that was filled with energy and light. I had no idea where I was. I was talking to these like shiny light beings, like you have a face. They were light. They were the light, okay? One of them I seemed to know more than the others. They gave me a bunch of information that I'm sorry I don't remember, or I would definitely share it. And then they told me where I was, and I said, no, I'm not. And I remembered because I didn't know where I was. So I went through my day and I said, oh, I'm having my baby. They told me, your body is having your baby. You are here. And it was beautiful, gorgeous beyond words. The colors were amazing. Look, I'm an artist. This is one of my frequency stones. I love, can you see it? I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
I love color. Okay. I love color. This color was beyond anything I would even begin to know how to create. Okay. It was amazing. The lovingness was astounding. And so I'm having this conversation with this shiny light being that I seem to know. It was almost like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Kind of thing. And then they gave me the choice to live or die. Literally. And it was loving. It was, and I felt he was a he. And they said, because there were several, that it would be easier for me to die and go through that doorway over there, which I was curious about. But I also knew I was having this child. There was nothing that was going to stop me. I mean, this was absolute in my life. Okay. And I said, no, I'm having my baby. And they said to me, he said, that one, that if I chose to have my child, I was going to do it alone. How did he say it? You're going to do it alone. It's going to be difficult. And you have to take off your rose-colored glasses, which if anyone doesn't know, that's an expression that means you're seeing things more positively than they are. And I was glad that was I thought I was being tested. I knew, though, if I went through that door, I wasn't coming out. I knew that. And as curious as I wasn't going to go through that door. So I agreed. I said yes, because this was loving. It was caring. It was supportive. It was gorgeous. Whatever colors of beauty, this is beyond, 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 beyond. If you want to know how I felt, I stamped my foot. There's my body in the hospital having a baby. And here am I talking to the shiny light beings, and I stamped my foot. So, yes, I felt like I had a body. Okay. I didn't feel like some will o' the wisp. That's not how I felt. I felt very much me, is how it felt. And so after they asked me, but are you sure? Like after I said I was going to have my baby and be a mom, then they said, are you sure? And I said, yes. And then after that, I heard like from a megaphone, you have a healthy baby girl. You have a healthy baby
Bringing you
girl.
back.
I kind of clicked into my body. It felt like I clicked into it. And my ex he became my ex, and then he passed away. Okay, so did I do it alone? Yeah, I actually did do it alone. And he was on my right. I said, tell me you love me. And he said, and that's when I really came into my body. And I asked him how our baby was. Did she have a bracelet? Because at the time, there were stories about babies being stolen out of hospitals.
Yeah. What year are we at?
1980.
Yeah. You're right.
And because I couldn't do anything, he took care of that.
Audrey, I've done a lot of reading, and I'm just whatever I can consume podcast on this moment. And there's some things on the topic to where we're all here because we planned this moment. You and I, somewhere along this line, has planned this. And that's a lot of the stuff that I've read about these moments, and that this everything, my kids, my wife, all this, we've all planned these to be part of each other's journey, and we're here learning certain things, right? Do you think that you're maybe high enough on your journey to where you were able to consciously make that choice to stay or go? Maybe you built that in to where you could be like, no, I can step off now, or you got to make that choice. Do you know? What do you think
Well,
about
we all have several exit points.
that?
We
Yeah,
all have options. Okay. Everybody has options
yeah,
about that. And from the stuff most people I know have said, nobody dies without them actually choosing it, which may not seem so. Okay.
yeah.
You're going to, nobody, I'm just saying it's the soul, not the ego, who makes this. So I don't know. What I do know is I was having that baby.
Yeah.
Okay. And I did. Okay. 3 pounds, 12 ounces is what she weighed. She is now 5'6", healthy, amazing. Okay.
45 years old.
4
44.
soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very soon.
That leans into that those choices, but then I've read about like either that's your spiritual guides or what is that? What do you think that was to you?
What, boy, I had the near death
The folks, the
experience.
beings, when you went to and you got to experience this.
Oh, who were they?
Yeah,
I call them helpers.
helpers. Yeah,
Okay. There are many different kinds of helpers. So I don't want to give it like a religious thing,
yeah,
because I'm
absolutely. Yeah,
basically a very spiritual woman. I'm not a religious woman as such, because I'm not going to just unless a lot of, okay, some of that is control, some of that is all that stuff. I'm not, you never want to try to control me. It's not a good idea. You
yeah,
want to speak with me, relate to me, I will with you, but to control and dominate, that's no.
yeah.
I mean, I come from an age when women, they look to control us, and I'm a little one. Okay, so they thought, oh, look, gee. No, not a good idea. And yes,
I think if to put it in perspective, for that in Christianity they would say that was angels.
no,
That
yeah, I know. I mean,
yeah,
listen, most would say I was talking to Jesus. I know
yeah,
what they would say.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
I'm well aware of that. Do I think it was that? No, I don't. I think I was talking to some of the guides. I think that, and also if somebody really, really, really is that, we are multidimensional, really get this. If Yeshua which is the real name, as far as I know, for Jesus, because that was not the name his mom called him, by the way. He is able to be in more than one place at a time, certainly in people's dreams and thoughts. It's not just the linearity of a third dimension. And the more we learn about quantum theory and quantum, the way things are, things vibrate. Okay, the atom is not just an electron or a proton. Let's do the simple one, the hydrogen one, which I believe is one electron, one proton, and the nucleus, I think. Okay, they are not like things that move, they're like energies that flicker. And if somebody knows anything about quantum theory, you can look at certain things and it changes. There is consciousness in an electron. That means that there's consciousness in everything. And if people have learned of anything about, what do they call it? Quantum entanglement, at the beginning, if it really was the Big Bang Theory, and everything was in a tiny little itty bitty thing that weighed more than you can possibly imagine, everything at one point was connected. And then, okay, however, okay, we're still connected. Everybody is still connected on different frequencies and energy. I know when I do energy healings, and I am a frequency energy healer, I'm called a light channel. I have all kind of words I can throw out, okay? And this kind of stuff. I know how to send it. I know how to feel it. I know how to receive it. Now what I'm doing, and I've been doing it for a while, and now with another level, because I'm learning more about quantum theory, which I did not know before. But I know when I meditate, I ask certain parts of me to heal, and then I send energy and stuff like that. Anyone can do this. All of you all can do this. But one, you need to really learn about it. You need to know how to clear and clean your own energy so you're not sending that you don't want to send. If you're sending doubts and fear, it's not going to happen. You're going to get doubts and fear. That's what you're going to get. If you're sending anger because you're mad because she said this and he did that and all that, you're going to just create it. That's why it's important to keep clearing. That's why the morph course is one thing. I mean, there's a lot. If you want to do tapping, I teach tapping in my courses, but somebody who I think is amazing is a guy named Brad Yates. Go to YouTube, tapping, Brad Yates, and do whatever. Tapping to be a better person, tapping to get money, tapping to heal myself, tapping to move forward. Do something. Do something. If you have PTSD, one, definitely eat alkaline, drink a lot of water, meditate. We'll do the breathing attunement, we'll do the heart math, the heart and the brain, coherent breathing. Do this stuff rather than think, well, that woman's interesting. I don't know what she's talking about. Do this. That's how you learn. If you don't like it, stop.
Audrey, you're at a point, and I want you to continue this because you were telling me you eat a vegan diet, and you're
Yes.
kind of there. I know we was going to we had some. I told you some other questions, but you're kind of there. Tell our listeners just and whatever. I choose a diet, and I can't remember what you told me, but you corrected
me.
It's a
lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, right? Yeah, it's what I am. But I've shared with you, I do the same thing. Like I'll jump over and eat vegan for it just to get that, just to get away from meat and some of the other things. I pay attention to how I feel, but how important is that? And tell me more about. Yeah, just to people that are listening, breath work, water, their alkalinity, their acidity, and then just why that vegan diet is such an important choice for you on your journey through this.
Okay, so for me specifically, so in my 20s, that would have been in the 1960s for anybody that's been around enough to be able to relate to that. For all the younger ones, yes, I'm still alive and I'm still good, blah, blah, blah. So I experimented with any number of things, okay? And yes, probably some of the ones you're thinking. And so I had learned, I lived in New York, and that means the city. And most people from the city will think if it exists, we've got it here. That is a New York attitude. And I definitely had it. So I was reading a book about Edgar Cayce, who was called The Sleeping Prophet, and I learned about yoga. So I thought, well, we must have a center. So I found one 3 blocks from my apartment.
Yeah.
And in that, I learned about being a vegetarian. And they taught in the class that that was the highest level of eating. Okay, they have words I'm not going to even get into. So I thought, okay, I will start, I will learn. So bit by bit, I started being vegetarian, and I started with what's called ovo-lacto. So I would drop some of the meat because I wanted to be healthy. I'd heard the word enlightenment. I said, that's for me.
Yeah.
Because I looked around, I said, I don't need this, I don't want that. And I knew some of the whatnot. And I had good parents. I have very good parents. I want you to know that. And there was still stuff. And go look at everyone's family. Show me a family that doesn't have stuff. I really want to meet them because there's stuff, okay? So when I learned the word enlightenment and decided I wanted it, and that vegetarian was the more enlightened way to eat, I thought, okay, so I'll learn how to do this. So bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, I did. It took a while. I never thought I could ever be raw vegan. And when I first started, that didn't even exist because I've been vegetarian for 51 years, which is amazing. I can throw those numbers out, but I can. And all of that. And then the raw vegan I'd read was even the healthier one. And I remembered in my 20s, I was doing yoga, I was exercising, I was starting to be vegetarian. And then I lapsed, went back to other stuff. And so in my later 20s, I was wondering, when did I used to feel so good? What was I doing? And I remembered, and it took me a couple of times till I really became vegetarian. I was 31, which is why I can calculate how long it's been. So I'm 82 now, so ta-da! And all of that. As a vegan, I'm stronger. I'm literally stronger, physically, mentally, emotionally. As mostly raw vegan, the reason raw vegan is part of where we get the nutrition from food is the enzymes. And when cooks food, you kill the enzymes. So it didn't make sense to me to be killing what it is that gives us the life force. That made no sense whatsoever. So, of course, me being in New York, I found people that were raw vegan, and I studied a little bit. I studied with Aris Latam, and then later, I went to Dr. Brenda Cobb's Living Foods Institute and studied there for a few weeks. And now I have a book, Vim, Vigor, Vitality, Vegan. Okay. And you can get a free sampler. I give stuff away on my website, Audrye Now, AudryeNow.com. Go to where it says books and download the free sampler. And the other books, I may as well tell you, it's Vim, Vigor, Vitality, Vegan. And then there's What If You Are and Life is Miraculous, my ABC affirmation art coloring book. When I did print it, it was on 100% post. Oh, wait, I have a copy. Ta-da! This is printed on 100% post-consumer recycled paper. I am one of these people that does my best to walk her talk. And so I have to charge what I charge for it because it costs a bunch to print it. Now you can get it an ebook. You have to pay for it and download. So that's the second book. And the third book, the very, very, very first book is The Mother's Manual, a spiritual and practical guide to child rearing and motherhood. And I am extremely comprehensive. I am one of these very content-rich people. Okay, there's art, there's exercises, there's recipes, there's stuff. Okay, and then it's Vim, Vigor, Vitality, Vegan, What If, and my fourth book was Raising Race Consciousness, Healing Racism, Sexism, and Other Isms. Because I, for one, am beyond any of that stuff. Okay? That people are still fiddling around with that is, to me, sad. Sad. Okay? Those are attitudinal dis-eases. Okay? Nobody is better than someone else because of where you're born, or if you're taller or shorter or any of that. We do have different talents. I do feel the different quote unquote racial groups, and not everybody is going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm not here to win a popularity contest. I'm here to, as much as possible, share wisdom and all of that. We do have different gifts and talents, and I, for one, am really glad. Okay, so I can learn from this one. Look at that gift. Holy cow, how do you do that? And then this, you could, wow, how do you do that? And then I can share what my gifts are so they can learn whatever the heck that is. And the more we share, the better we are. And the real way to live is through cooperation and helpfulness. That whole Darwinian thing, survival of the fittest. No, that's not the case. No, you have to fight. No, that just gets you sick. That just leads to war. That is not how it is. That's an old paradigm. That's not how it is. And if you've listened to some of the scientists, which I have listened to some of them, the way humans came about, according to them, this is not my knowledge. This is me telling you what they have said. One of them is Greg Braden, that about 200,000 years ago, somehow our chromosome 2 was readapted. It was 2 other chromosomes put together and then kind of tailored. And then there was something done with chromosome 7. That was when the first fully human, Homo sapiens sapien, 200,000 years ago, came to be. The same what we are. The same brain, the same this, the same that. We're not descended from whatever. We didn't come from any of the other kind of persons, whether Neanderthal or Denisovans or whatever the other ones might be. In fact, many of us were on the earth at the same time and interbred, because let's face it, our species likes to mess around sometimes. Hey, look around, tell me yes, no. And we're explorative. And so the new, according to the new human story, is not that old one. You're not a nothing. You were not born in sin. Forget that. It's not true. It isn't. Whatever might have been going on with your mother or father, or however you came to be, including if it was rape, which I am sorry if that's how it happened for you, okay, in them, you came in with light and energy. That's what we are. We are made of light. We are made of the very self-same stuff that the universe is made of. Whether you call it goddess, God, source, Allah, Great Spirit, Oshun, Yamaji, whatever you call all this, it's light. That's what we are made of. Claim it. This is not, I'm made of light and you're not. No, that's all ego. That's not. No, one has to go beyond ego. I spell the word self, capital S, little s, ELF. The capital S is soul, essence, self. The little s is ego, personality, self. It's like on a range. That's what we are. And if somebody is only operating at ego level, they're not going to go where they need to go. And in the days upon us, that's not going to work. We need to go as high as we can while we're clearing and cleansing this other stuff. It's a journey. It's not like, okay, I'm not, okay, that's a finger snap, whether you can hear it or not, okay? It's a journey, because if time, which maybe it's the physicists will tell us everything all happens at once, if it really were like this here, we would not have any continuity or anything. We wouldn't have an earth experience. I know when people ask me to tune in to people that have passed away, and yes, they ask me, and yes, I do it. And I look at that other side, the way I'm shown it is I don't see it all at once. I see it like in levels. And I could see the soul journey is learning this here, and then they're learning this here, and then this is over here. So if you want me to explain it exactly, I can't yet. I don't yet understand it fully exactly. And I'm an intelligent person. I was in Mensa, okay? And if you don't know what that's, forget it, okay? And I'm a walking intuitive. I'm made this way. And I still study. So I'm going to reiterate going back, whatever your gifts are, whatever you have an interest in, make sure 1, you like it. 2, it's good for the planet. 3, study it. Get good at it. Find a way to monetize it, that it helps others. You will succeed. Is it an easy journey? Mine hasn't been, but then it's an attitude. You decide, like I've decided, if one wants to be happy, that's an inside job. I decided a long time ago that I wanted to be happy. I decided years ago that I like being in love. I am a single woman right now. I have not, after I left my ex, and that was a long time ago. And then he passed away when my daughter was 7. That was a while ago. I have grandchildren older than 7. Okay. And just so we understand this. So I decided that I like being in love. So I chose to be in love with the world. I chose to be in love with life. Make your own choices. You are allowed to do that so long as it is helpful. Like ahimsa, do no harm. That's Buddhist. Don't get stuck. Oh, it's a belief. Learn from everybody and allow it for yourself. Allow joy into your life. Be joyous that you exist. Why am I vegan? I make the greatest chocolate stuff you could possibly imagine. I make raw, vegan, chocolatey, fudgy stuff. It is amazing. If I could give you a taste, I would, but I don't know how to do that in like this.
You got to leave it to my imagination. Hey, we're coming up on that hour mark.
Can I do the
And
breathing attunement?
yeah, well, it's what I was going to ask you to close with, but here's this is going to create some questions from just people, right? And I want to, for everyone who's listening, I'm just going to go through some good breath exercises for us. But we always try to just guard, and I think I learned to like kind of like what you said earlier. I kind of guard my energy within just different settings and for what my audience listening time is and all those things. But it also creates another opportunity for me to listen to this, kind of go through it, and then craft a whole other set of questions. So my curiosity is it okay if you and I jump back on and let me unpack some more of this in a few weeks, months, whatever that looks like for your schedule?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
okay? So?
Yes.
And I tell you there's a couple just friends that have helped me on my journey and all those things, and I'm sure we're going to create some questions, right? And I want the opportunity. Um, it's like when I interviewed Manti, he was in a cult, and I told everybody about the interview, and then they said, "All right, I want to know this." So they came back with like a list of questions for the follow up because it was things that interested them. So I want to do that. But before
Okay.
we close today, I want you to walk through those breath exercises, whatever what that looked like that you wanted to share, and then we'll wrap up, and then you and I can schedule our next meeting.
Okay. I'm going to teach something called the lifting process. I learned it when I was studying with Patricia Hayes, different than Louise Hay, when I was studying the psychic healing metaphysics world. I've studied with a bunch of people. So I'm going to explain what we're going to do. Then I'm going to do it. And everyone can participate, except if you're driving a car, if you're on a bike, if you're taking care of a baby, if you're cutting a tomato, don't. Okay, stay with what you're doing. Only do this now if you can really lay back and relax. Otherwise, watch the show again, listen to it again, and then do it, because you need to be able to really let go and be with this. So now, if you're doing those things that require your attention, put your attention there. Okay, so this basically, I'm going to lift my frequency for a few minutes first, so I can't talk when I do that. I have to be quiet. And do I take, okay, I'm going to take my flower off. And I like my flower. Okay, because it pulls energy and I can't have energy being pulled when I'm doing this. Um, when you do it for yourself, what you do is you start breathing quietly, and then you simply say you're getting higher and higher, lighter and lighter, freer and freer. But I'm going to guide you into it so you go into it correctly. And because I am a healer, I am a channel, it would be remiss of me not to send healing energy, because it's part of the gift I can give. And if you don't want it or you're nervous about it, just say, I don't want it. It won't go to you. Okay. This is not being forced. If you'd like it, just allow it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to let you, I call it float in the energy. Then I'm going to bring you forward from that. So allow your eyes to be closed till I bring you forward. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Okay. So I need a moment. This is water. I drink a lot of water.
Same.
Taking a nice, deep, soft breath. Breathe in pink light into your heart. Hold and slowly release. Breathe in golden light into your bones, your lungs, all parts of yourself. Hold and release. Let go. Breathe in soft blue, soft green into every aspect of your being, your thoughts, your emotions, your body. Hold and release. And now breathe comfortably and allow yourself to get higher and higher, lighter and lighter, freer and freer. You're getting higher, lighter, freer. You are safe. You are blessed. You are protected. You are loved. You're getting higher, higher, lighter, freer. Higher, higher, lighter, freer, and lighter and higher and freer. You're grounded. You're taken care of. You are prosperous. You are safe. You are at peace. Now allow yourself, I shall be silent for a few moments, to be in this energy. I will bring you forth when you hear little bells chiming. Enjoy, enjoy. your eyes closed. As you feel ready, you may slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. You may slowly begin to move your hands on your wrists. Slowly, gently begin to move your feet on your ankles. You may begin to slowly move your body or pat your body gently, easily, with kindness. You may gently move your head on your neck. You may face forward with your head upright in a relaxed manner. And when you feel ready, you may gently begin to open your eyes. When you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, you may begin to speak. How do you feel?
That's good. Needed that. A lot of people in last week. That was really good. It's a good exercise.
How do
Um,
you feel?
I feel great. Just my like maybe a little mini nap there or something other, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just it's feel good.
Do it every day.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to encourage everyone that, especially as we close here,
Thank you.
there's a lot of folks that struggle with this and are trying to find that direction. And what I have learned is just connecting through you. And some folks are they look at the negative side of this, but I think what you're able to teach and the takeaway that I hope everyone gets here is just that breath work and the power of that self and you. And you really help lean into that message for folks that are, because here's where you are. And this is who I hope you're speaking to a lot of people, but I hope you're speaking to that person today that just lost their job or they just had a bad moment or something that's very life changing and they are struggling to find hope and they're trying to find that direction. And when they listen to this, and I really hope that this speaks to them and that they understand that if there's a few things, I told someone, I heard this the other week, I have things I would like to do over. I don't live in regret because I learned to forgive myself. And you spoke to that earlier, but there was a long time before I could get to that. And through some of the breath work that you went through here today, and I found this later in life. Just one day I started like, hey, I need to really learn more about this. But that has really accelerated where I am now. That is doing the extra breath work, is focusing on that, finding those lights, um, connecting with you and individuals that have that ability that can help convey that positive energy around, and then guiding someone on this breath exercises. That is a person that I absolutely hopes hears this, because I wish I would have had it when I needed it. And it was just part of my journey, right? Same
Me
thing.
too.
It's it's just all part of my journey. But I think part of the journey as well is me helping get this out for folks that need it.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do this. I do want to let people know, because you're going to give my website and there's a phone number on that. I am in Costa Rica. However, my phone has a U.S. SIM card on it. So
Yeah,
calling me is a local call.
yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome.
It's a New
And
York number.
you can WhatsApp is out there too.
Yeah,
Uh,
WhatsApp.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't know if my WhatsApp always works, but it's a local number to
yeah.
anyone in the United States.
Awesome.
Okay. I mean, I would give the number, but then I don't know
Yeah,
who's.
yeah.
Should
No,
I?
you repeat the website so everybody can find that.
Okay, the website is Audrye now, AudryeNow.com. No, did
That's
I
it.
say now? NOW. breathwork.com. That's my website.
Are you on social media, Instagram, anything?
You know, it's interesting. We're revving it all up again. So I was on Instagram. I'm not sure how to get into it, but I have my personal assistant. We're going to be starting a new YouTube channel.
Make sure
I
you
used
let
to
me
do
know so we can
YouTube.
add that link.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
make
you.
sure you let me know.
I will. But look, Audrey now is what I use now. I used to use Goddess Heart. That's my organization. But I'm revving up to start again. And I'm definitely a speaker. And I'm here to help people move forward. That's why I came to the earth, okay? As well as to grow, to evolve, to enjoy this gorgeous, gorgeous planet.
Oh.
To enjoy this stunning planet, which, by the way, it is not going to be destroyed. So don't go into any fear of the planet. But do we need to take care of it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to say this because the guides are telling me I have to say this, okay? Whatever shape any of you may be in, mentally, emotionally, spiritual, psychologically, whatever, okay? You can evolve. There was a time I did not believe this. I won't even go. That's a whole, okay.
That's the next episode, Audrey.
You can. You are meant to. That is our trajectory as whatever we are, human beings. I don't know, what are we now? Energy frequencies, okay? We're all of this. We are put here to evolve. Some people say we're going into a light body. Good with me. I mean, because we are changing vibration. The earth itself is going through the photon belt. This happens every some thousands of years. This is not an everyday occurrence. There's a lot going on. Do not refrain from giving in to fear. There's a lot of fear mongers out there. Their job is to get people scared so they could manipulate and control. No, don't do that. You don't need to.
You say the same things. I say that a lot in coaching and talking with people is as hard as change is for a lot of folks, we all can do it. And I think it's the message that we're going to close this out with to be continued. But I think we both are leaving that same message that if you're struggling, go back, rewind, go back, find that first little bit of breath work that we did. I'll mark that and put in the show notes. The links that Audrey provided us on just learning where you can learn more about your breath work. I'll make sure that those links get in there, and then connecting with her in the meantime. She's here. She's willing to help. She got courses, things that can help guide you. And I think that's the thing I'll speak to lastly, that power of the coach is someone who can help you shorten your distance to getting to where you want to be. And there's a lot of power in that. So don't be afraid to reach out for Miss Audrey. But this is episode 1 of a handful because you're going to generate so many questions. So thank you for joining with me.
Thank you so very much for this. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Blessings.